Catskill town halls after she asked that question. Stand up if you've got a pre-existing condition or you know somebody who does. Everybody stands up. And that's a snapshot about how it's working in that campaign, but that's true in your personal life. That's true across the country. In that Kaiser poll from this past week showing how important health care is to people making their decisions about who to vote for in this year's election, they polled specifically on that part of Obamacare, the pre-existing conditions part, the part that says your health care insurance has to cover pre-existing conditions, has to cover you even if you have a pre-existing condition, can't charge you more just because you have a pre-existing condition. By a 3-to-1 margin, Americans are in favor of that. It's got a 75% approval rating. Americans love that. Well, the basic bill that House Republicans voted on a gazillion times to kill Obamacare, it explicitly states that the pre-existing conditions guarantee would be ended if Republicans got that passed. That lawsuit by 20 Republican-led states that's pending in the courts right now to eliminate all of Obamacare, it also explicitly and specifically seeks to remove the protections for people who have pre-existing conditions. Republicans are desperately trying, both in Congress and in the states and through the courts, to kill coverage for pre-existing conditions. That's what they're actively working on. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. This is what they're doing. And they used to think this was great politics. It's clear that it's not great politics anymore. The electorate is now absolutely opposed to them on this and really cares about health care as an issue heading into this election. So now there's this weird thing happening in hotly contested races all across the country where Republicans who've been inveighing against the evils of Obamacare for years, who've been voting to kill Obamacare for years, who've been supporting these efforts, actively supporting efforts now to get rid of pre-existing coverage, pre-existing conditions coverage specifically. All these Republicans, on the occasion of this election, 2 weeks from tonight, all these Republicans are now pretending, actually on this issue, I'm kind of a Democrat. All these Republicans are now trying to run on the Democratic Party's position on health care. They're all running against themselves.
In Wisconsin, pre-existing conditions are covered. And as long as I'm governor, they always will be.
Actually, under Governor Scott Walker, Wisconsin is the lead named plaintiff on the federal lawsuit that would eliminate Obamacare, including specifically its protections for people with pre-existing conditions. But nice try.
Josh Hawley. I support forcing insurance companies to cover all pre-existing conditions.
Actually, Josh Hawley is the Attorney General in the state of Missouri who's personally handling that state's part in the federal lawsuit to kill Obamacare, including its protections for pre-existing conditions. But again, nice try.
I support forcing insurance companies to cover pre-existing conditions.
Actually, under Florida Governor Rick Scott, his state is suing to allow insurance companies specifically to no longer cover pre-existing conditions. But nice try.
I'm fighting to protect pre-existing conditions.
Here's the truth. Kevin Cramer voted for guaranteed coverage for pre-existing conditions.
I'm taking on both parties and fighting for those with pre-existing conditions.
Everyone agrees we're going to protect pre-existing conditions.
I want the voters to know I'm committed to protecting people with pre-existing conditions. I'm fighting for it, I fought for it, and I voted for it.
Nope. Martha McSally, no, you did not. You actually voted to get rid of Obamacare, including its protections for people with pre-existing conditions. So did you, Ted Cruz, Texas senator up for re-election. So did you, Dean Heller, Nevada senator up for re-election. So did you, Dana Rohrabacher, Russian congressman up for re-election. So did you, Congressman Kevin Cramer, running for Senate now against Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota. You all voted to end insurance coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. You all voted for it. You all voted to kill Obamacare, including that provision of it. And now you've all pulled on these latex masks just in time for Halloween to pretend like, actually, you're kind of a Democrat on this issue, and people should vote for you if they want to save Obamacare, despite your voting record, your uninterrupted voting record, and your uninterrupted prior political resume of trying to kill it. This is happening all over the country. Democrats are running on health care. Republicans are pretending to be Democrats running on health care, completely denying their old voting records and what they are actively doing right now on the subject. And to put a cherry on top of this Sunday, this week, 2 weeks out from the election, The Trump administration has just announced that they are imposing new rules on the states. That for the first time since Obamacare passed, they will allow health insurance companies to once again start refusing to cover people with pre-existing conditions. States will now be able to have health insurance coverage once again, like we used to have, that doesn't cover people with pre-existing conditions or that charges them more because you've got a pre-existing condition. New rule just issued by the Trump administration yesterday. They literally picked the issue that more Americans care about than any other heading into this election. And on that issue, they did the exact and specific opposite of what the American people want on this issue. And this issue proves to be more motivating than any other for how people are going to vote in 2 weeks' time. How's that likely to work out? That's next.